Hello, my name is Tammy Orahood. I am the Director of Global Programs for the Brown School. Congratulations on your acceptance to the Brown School. I'm going to be talking about several different global opportunities for you. So right now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen in this wonderful new technology that we have. And so hopefully you are seeing the presentation mode. Okay, so we're talking about ways that you can globalize your experience at the Brown School. And you can do that in all of our programs. I would like to introduce you to other members of the Global Programs staff, and then we'll talk about some of those different opportunities. So global is very, very important to the Brown School. We have a global vision, which hopefully you can read that says, to improve the social well-being and health of the most vulnerable populations by conducting groundbreaking research, educating scholar practitioners, building enduring partnerships, deploying emerging technologies, and influencing policymakers in order to promote just, equitable, and healthy societies around the world. That's very important. Global is one of the pillars in our strategic plan, and Brown is putting its money where its mouth is when it comes to having supports and opportunities for students. And we do that a lot through my office. So there I am, Director of Global Programs. I also work with Lin Wing Fu, who is our Manager of Global Programs and who does some international recruiting, but also works in international student services. And then Amy Reuther is our ELP coordinator. We teach our own English language course for Brown School students in the fall for international students who need a little bit extra English support. And she also works with our communication lab and generally supports students to be academically successful at the Brown School. So that's GPO. And GPO has several different foci. So we do support international students at the Brown School. We have about 120 students from all around the world. And we do many different things for them, support them through different programming, through helping with regulatory issues in partnership with our Office of International Students and Scholars. We are the ones who do the international student orientation that's organized through my office. And then we have lots of cultural events throughout the year. This is an example of some of the resources for the international students. Our office organizes these. So in 2020, we had sessions on maneuvering healthcare, which, as you can imagine, is very complicated for someone not from the United States. Not that it's any less complicated for Americans. Also working with police, building resumes and cover letters in the US style. We had a particular one on the US elections this fall, and then working in the US. And as I mentioned, Amy works very closely with our communication lab for students that need extra supports, writing, presenting, professional communication, and English. So the other thing that our office does, and this may be of interest to some of you, is we run the international Practica. So we coordinate with the Office of Field Education, and all students will do foundation Practica if they are MSW students, and they will do MPH, and MSP students will also work closely with the Office of Field Education. But for students who are particularly interested in working abroad and who are in our international concentrations, like international social and economic development or the global health specialization for our MPH students, sometimes we have students who do an internationally focused concentration that they individualize, they get priority for our international Practica. And for this, you do have to apply quite early in the program because there's a whole process involved to vet both you as a student who would work internationally, matching with the agencies. We do a series of specialized workshop in the spring for students who are planning to work abroad, and there is funding available. So we call the students who are accepted to this Kanduka Fellows, because one of our former deans was named Dean Kanduka. He was very supportive of global education and global practice. And so students who apply and successfully complete all the steps are Kanduka Fellows, and that does include the training. So just to go in some real brief detail about this, as I said, you do have to apply, and that deadline comes quite early. Most of our students do the international practicum in the summer. You don't have to, but that's just how it works out most with curriculum. And so you would be applying by November 15th the year before you actually plan to go abroad for the summer. There's application deadlines in spring and fall as well if you are going to do it for a semester. As part of that application and what you're talking about, your interest in working globally, you will rank your top 3 choices from what we call the core approved practicum sites. So the way this works is we do not place students in any sort of practicum at the Brown School, but we do need to have a little bit more structure around the international practicum because we need to make sure that these are safe places, that these are quality learning experiences for the students, and that we have some continuity going. So rather than opening up the entire globe, we have a lengthy list of sites that students can choose from based on functional area and geography and career goals. And then once you've applied, we will nominate you for one of those agencies, which is usually one of your top 3 choices, and then you apply directly for that agency. So this is an example of some of the core approved practicum sites. You can go to the website and look in more depth. If you click on those links, then there's web brochures for them. If a site is not linked right now, that's just because right now we're in a virtual practicum site because of the pandemic. We suspect by 2022, we will go back to being able to send students and all these sites will open up again. And so if you're interested in learning more about the international practicum, you can go to SA, which stands for Study Abroad, .wustl.edu. And then when you click on the Brown School link, look at the guidelines, you can take a look at the application, you can click on those sites and learn more about it. We'll do info sessions in the fall. So if this is something you want to do, I suggest you meet with me early so we can start talking through your options. So now what I'm going to switch to is our field-based courses, as we call them. These are faculty-led courses outside of St. Louis, and we have a menu of these that we offer every year. So these courses were all supposed to be offered this year, and because of COVID, we couldn't do that. So we are anticipating offering these exact courses that I'm going to show you in next academic year. And so the idea is, again, students have to apply for these courses because they are subsidized by the Brown School. There is a course fee, but they are heavily subsidized. We do offer a domestic course to Washington, D.C., and that's what you're looking at now. This is policymaking, advocacy, and analysis in Washington, D.C., and that's taught over spring break. So we take a group of 30, 40 students who are interested in policy. They meet with agencies to create a policy brief, and it culminates on the Hill in which students actually present their policy brief to lawmakers. So it's quite an amazing experience. And from left to right, you can see pictures of a student at the Pentagon, students meeting with former Missouri Senator Claire McCaskill on Capitol Hill, and then students getting ready to do their presentations in one of the rooms that we rent for the week. So there's some space for students to apply, and then they're just going to meetings all day with senators and representatives and their staffers on the Hill. And then we also offer courses overseas. So this course will be offered next academic year, Gender, Physical Activity, and Urban Development in Berlin, Germany, which is taught by Heather Cameron. This is going to be a May class. So with all of these field-based classes, the travel itself takes place over a break. So they're usually anywhere from a week to 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that. This course has been offered in the past. So here's some pictures from some of our students in past years of Berlin. Again, this would be something that you would apply for in the fall. The course would have some pre-departure courses in the spring. The bulk of the travel will take place in May. We are also going to offer Sustainability, Development, and Health in Costa Rica. That will be in May as well. This is taught by Joe Steensma, has been offered as well. So we have some lovely pictures of students getting ready to zip line, I think, and then in front of one of the natural wonders. They talk about sustainable tourism, for example, in Costa Rica. So again, you would apply for that in the fall. And then we are excited to offer a new course in Colombia, The Protection and Well-Being of Displaced Children, a Colombian case study taught by Lindsay Stark. This is in partnership with Universidad de los Andes in Colombia. So there will be students, Colombian students and Brown School students, and they're going to be looking at, immigration, refugees, displaced children, that particular topic. So for all of these, there is a course fee that students pay that's roughly $1,500. That's for the international ones. The domestic ones a little bit differently, works a little differently. But then the trips themselves cost 3-4 times that. And so typically they cover flights and hotel and in-country travel, the occasional meal, depends on the course. And then students would, cover any other differences, but the big expenses are paid for and subsidized by the Brown School. And then we do provide support for our faculty. So we work with our faculty very closely on research and scholarship. And so we provide seed grants for pilot programs for global research. The Visiting Scholar program is run through our office. So we have postdocs and PhD students and young faculty who come in and work with our research centers and our faculty. Our office does a lot of grant writing and translation for faculty. We are support for both the 2 international concentrations, ISCD and global health. And we happily assist with a new endeavor that started during the pandemic that's become quite popular. It's a virtual international development and global health happy hour. And so this started as an opportunity for people to connect during the pandemic. It's grown. We now have alumni, current students, faculty, staff. We often have speakers who are working abroad in different global functional areas. We're talking about, what they're doing and their career path. And it's just become a really great support for students that are interested in all different types of global issues. And then for global research, as you know, Brown School is pretty proud of our global research efforts, and we have a lot of faculty that are working in various areas. They take students on all the time, whether that's as for international practicum or as research assistants or to work for the centers, those sorts of things. Some of the classes like PI, for example, under Professor Trani, use global case studies and work with real global agencies to do some evaluation work. So these are some examples of where students have been able to work with faculty. Laura Ionati's using eggs to combat undernutrition in both Haiti and Ecuador. Sojung Park's working on rural aging in place in South Korea. Carolyn Lasorgel is working on livelihoods in Kenya. The Center for Social Development, led by Michael Sheridan, is doing youth savings accounts in Colombia and Ghana. Joan Steensma and Laura Ionati are working on fisheries in Haiti, and John Francois Trani is working on disabilities in South Africa. Some of these are complete projects, some of these are ongoing, but this is just to give you an idea of how you as a student can get involved with global research. So that's the Global Programs Office. We are quite busy. In addition to all of the things that you see there, we do a lot of programming, including the Cultural Showcase, which hopefully you'll be able to log on and see that this year. It's virtual, but it's really an amazing event. We host a conference in the spring on a global theme. We often bring in speakers and collaborate with other entities across campus and centers for discussions, presentations, and speakers on a whole host of global issues. So thank you very much for your time. As I said, my name is Tammy Orahood. I am happy to talk with you now as you're making your decision. And once you do make your decision to come to the Brown School, I'm happy to meet with you back on campus, and we can talk about how you can take advantage of all these opportunities to make your experience more global as well. So best of luck to you as you make this decision. And I'm going to stop sharing and stop recording. So.